Hey, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Saturday, 10:37 a.m. California time, here where I'm at, just outside of Chico. March 8th, 2025 is the date. Welcome to the weekend out here. Latest earthquake shows a 3.2 across this area of the Java Trench, and the red flag, also some movement there in the green flag, with a 1.3 up into Alaska. Starting off here with space weather activity first. Got, looks like maybe an active area out here on the eastern limb, throwing up some flaring activity. That sunspot not yet visible here on the Earth-facing side of the sun, but just looking at this imagery here, we should see potentially an increase here in flare activity here in the coming days. We'll have to keep an eye on that sunspot. As we look at the magnetogram image here, we'll pull the latest imagery up from the SDO NASA.gov website. And that sunspot area, not this one, but there's another one way out there, not visible yet on the magnetogram of the Earth-facing side of the sun, but throwing up some flares right now. We'll definitely keep an eye on that area. The sunspots that are currently in the Earth-directed view really pose no issue at all in terms of any stronger flare activity. We'll be lucky if we get any upper sea flare activity from any of the sunspots that are currently facing the Earth. But keep an eye. Looks like things are starting to stir up out there across the eastern limb. Again, there's the UV filter of that sun on the eastern limb there. Pretty neat. All right, let's go ahead and check out flaring activity. I'm issuing a less than 1% chance for an X flare. These guys have it set at 5%. M flare, I have mine at about 45. Not a big threat, but a little bit more than what these guys are stating. We do have a little bit of aurora conditions kicking up right now, it looks like, on the dark side of the Earth. Well, over there where people are sleeping, opposite the North America. This is due to some high-speed solar wind stream that's been flowing from a coronal hole, but this is a 30-minute aurora forecast out there. So if you're across this area of the region, go check it out. See if you got clear skies. Might be able to see the auroras out there. But for us here on the North American side, definitely not going to see it there. Well, we got too much sun out here. A lot of sunlight going on. Yeah, that coronal hole, that was number 21 here. A couple days ago, this was facing Earth. Of course, it takes, somewhere around 72 hours or so for that high-speed solar wind stream to reach the planet. But I believe that was the culprit, number 21 there, which is now much further out on the western area of the sun. No major aurora storms in the forecast, just some unsettled conditions here due to the high-speed solar wind stream. And it looks like the conditions there are favorable, maybe even into the nighttime period here tonight for North American side, that we may see some auroras kicking up here. Again, pinning this holds through, far as the intensity goes, but we'll see what happens later tonight. All right, far as earthquake activity goes, let's run over and check out the latest. There's a flaring chart, by the way. There's that sea flare activity stirring up on the far eastern limb from that sunspot. Earthquake activity here in the last 24 hours, as far as the largest magnitude goes here from the USGS, is going to be looks like a 5.3 in Ecuador from yesterday. Now, so far today, just after midnight, 5.1 over here across the Nepal area. This is where that 7-pointer struck earlier this year. Looks like some aftershock activity continuing in that region. If you look at the 30-day map here, it shows some aftershock sequences there from that 7-pointer that struck out there earlier this year. But really nothing major happening out here today yet. Still a little early in the day. Even these two quakes here around Japan are from yesterday. Looking at the earthquake 3D globe, not a whole lot of newer activity up here. Some movement around the Nankai Trough southward towards Taiwan, but really nothing spectacular. Same for the Fiji area and New Zealand. The states, we'll go ahead and zoom in here to the California area, see what we have going on. One earthquake being reported out there in the Irvine area of Southern California, south of Los Angeles. This whole area is just the greater Los Angeles area, but there's many different communities in between. It's an area of massive amounts of population density. Nothing major going on out there for now. That's a good thing. A couple smaller earthquakes out in the just various areas along the San Jacinto fault zone. Some activity last night right on the San Andreas fault, but Haven't really seen anything else happen on that yet. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. But aside from that, Southern California looking pretty quiet. Northern California as well. Hard to believe that there's not even one earthquake out here in the last 24 hours. I believe there has been, but they're back to not reporting anything far as above below 2.0. That won't show up here on the map for some reason. All right, Washington, pretty quiet, but it is the weekend, so a lot of earthquakes go unmentioned, so to speak, here on the earthquake map. If anything does strike out here under 2.0, it'll probably get added Monday morning once they get into office there. Yellowstone National Park, nothing showing up there on the map aside from some movement around the Red Rock Lakes National Wildlife Refuge over here. That's in the, outside of the Yellowstone area, but we'll double check. I want to see what we got going on there. Yellowstone overview right here. And there is some of that earthquake activity. You can see it on Madison River, Maple Creek. I'm talking about these earthquakes right here. Those are local, well-defined earthquakes. This here, I don't know what that is. Some type of interference local to this region. Not earthquake related. But, yeah, there's a handful of smaller quakes, very small earthquakes. And the USGS is, they're showing them up there. And that's from looks like a late afternoon, early evening from yesterday, number of those quakes. But that really wouldn't match up. That wouldn't really match up with the time frame here. So look at that. This is around 3 in the morning or so, 3:30 in the morning local time here. They got the numbers all in queue, right, as far as the time and stuff goes. So that's a little odd. Maybe very possible here because this shows, yeah, it's not matching up. Maybe there's some earthquake activity occurring. In fact, that's a little distant for any small earthquake activity to show up like that on the Yellowstone overviews here. So this is localized. Some very small events showing up, which have not been reported by the USGS out here. Those are very small, probably under 2.0. But that's probably, that's the main reason why they're not showing up here. But yeah, that's some local earthquake activity. There's no way Yellowstone would pick up these extreme small microquakes here. So some activity stirring up there, but nothing big, folks. No big earthquake swarm there across that super volcano for now. Texas oil fields, still pretty active out there. Some 2s and 1s, a lot from yesterday as well. One earthquake over here in Arkansas from yesterday, but yeah, it's been a little quiet out here across the states for today so far. Puerto Rico Trench, a lot from yesterday, a lot from today as well. Some 2s and 3s out there. If we take a look here back at the 3D globe, well, it looks, I use the word average on any given day. This is just your average amount of earthquakes here. Nothing spectacular, nothing big, not too quiet. Just an average day out here in terms of plate tectonics out here. Let's go ahead and check out the Santorini area, see what we have from the Raspberry Shake Network. Zoom in here to the Santorini area. Here's that earthquake swarm that's been kicking up as we move in. The number of counts here staying consistent because this is the last week. We've been seeing about 60 to 80 earthquakes every day. That's why this number has been staying pretty consistent here over the last week. As each day goes on, we refill it with a number of earthquakes. Nothing big out there. No increasing magnitudes or multitude of quakes. That number would go up. And, of course, we would see it over here on the chart. But it's still just got, earthquake activity occurring out there. It has not died. It hasn't completely died off yet. What it all means, like everything else, it takes time, right? So we'll watch this, see where it goes, where it's headed. All those earthquakes, thousands of earthquakes with really no end result there, as far as an explosion goes or eruption or any big earthquake. And I guess that's a good thing. I'm not hoping for any of those, but normally the cause and effect there, that should have turned into something. It still may. You just have to watch it. Big Island of Hawaii out here. Nothing major going on. A couple smaller earthquakes. Back into the pause stage of the eruption, I believe. We'll go over here to the Kilauea Volcano on the Big Island and check it out real quick. I like to look at the deformation data. This tells me everything I need to know. There's the eruption back on the 4th, early 5th, it looks like here, a couple days ago. Very short-lived eruption. That's downslope here, deflation there because of the volume of magma that was outputted. Now we're going back up. And if time tells us anything, and if, trends, following the trends here, you can almost forecast exactly when the next eruption will be here at Kilauea Volcano. We got probably another couple days or so before we get to the level where we'll see a return to the eruption. But right now it's on pause. I think we're on number 13. Pause number 13, if I remember right. Episode 12. No thanks. Episode 12 ended, so this next one coming up, and I believe it will because the models are still consistent with previous pause and eruption stages, will be episode number 13. So, from about 46 days. I still think we got a couple days there before we see that return. All right, what do we got for asteroids? Anything to chat about in the close approach asteroids? Let's check out the next 5 of them here from the JPL-NASA.gov website. The Asteroid Watch. Nothing major going on right now. Have you guys heard about the 2024 YR4 asteroid that's coming close to the Earth in 2032? Well, the chances of that has dramatically dropped down. I think it's like non-existent right now. It was up to around a 1.7 and then a 2.3. After further observations, the latest shows that it has no chance of hitting Earth. But, things can change, right? We'll see what happens. That's a few years from now, 2032. A lot can happen in between now and then. As far as any near-term asteroid approaches, a lot of new ones being discovered, but nothing within range there that would cause concern. For severe weather out here, double check, make sure that's good. Got marginal risk, fairly large area of marginal risk. That's due to a 2% chance for some tornado activity there across southeastern Texas as well. A little bit of wind and just a little bit of hail out there as well. Bigger storm coming up, it looks like next weekend out here as we put this model into motion. There's this weekend's events down there in the south. Southern California, got some rain coming in. And a bigger storm system there for Northern California as we head into the middle of this coming week. That low pressure will be the culprit of producing some tornado activity here as we head towards next weekend. Look at that. Perfect dynamic setup here for low up north, pulling into that moisture. A lot of deep moisture there being associated with that low pressure. And that could stir up some severe weather for sure. We'll have to watch that. Following that, the following week here, looks like maybe another low pressure here, but a little bit further up north as far as the severe weather potential goes. But we'll see what happens. That is, that's going to be for Sunday night. Another storm out here across California. It's just going to be pretty active out here. We got a lot of rain coming out to this area. The total accumulated precipitation runs show that, Southern California included, but mostly aimed here in Northern California, and that's good because the ground out here is starting to get dry. Really not into drought conditions because we did pick up a lot of rain there back in February. January was pretty dry, but we'll check out the drought map out here across the states, see what we got here for the area. Drought monitoring map here from the Windy model. This is like pretty much an all-in-one app. I love it. I mean, there's so much you can look at. You can look at the NO2 from volcanoes, SO2 from volcanoes, surface ozone, CO concentration. And here's just a drought monitoring at the surface level, 0 to 40, 0 to 100 in cm is a little bit deeper. Outside of Chico here, we're okay, but we need more rain. I think after these series of storm systems coming in, this will be wiped off the map as far as any drought anomaly. Still quite a bit there across the desert southwest and over here in the Alabama, Mississippi area. But I think this is going to fill in quite nicely with these series of low pressure systems that are coming in. That should be a lot better looking as far as drought conditions go after this month. Fire danger pretty good, fairly green out there. Still some threats down in Texas. Got a lot of drier conditions out there, and into Southern California as well. But all right, what else is going on here, folks? I think that's about it. Just kind of an eerily quiet day. Nothing major going on. Typical earthquake activity. It's supposed to be about 70 degrees today here in Northern California. Pretty quiet. Yeah, I think I'll go out, get some yard work done before the rain comes in. It's always nice to cut some drier grass instead of the thick, wet grass there. Kind of makes a clog on the riding lawnmower, so it's much easier getting it done beforehand. Have a good one. We'll see you guys out here later tonight for the Saturday evening update. Stay safe out there, folks. Have a good Saturday.